of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. This is the Friday show. We have Art, who we were speaking to from Parnell Prison in Michigan. He's got a limited amount of time, so I want to bring him just right back on. Art, if you got a little bit of time here, probably a minute or two, if you want to close out and give us a summary of your thoughts here.
Sounds good. Real quick, U.S. United States Supreme Court Justice Kennedy made a statement. Any day of the week, the police could lock up half the motorists for just infractions, driving infractions. So it's important that we realize that this is a serious event, and like I said, a lot of our liberty has been taken away.
You have 1 minute remaining.
We can clearly see that right now. But the interesting stuff that just took place in Hong Kong, and the same thing's happening in the United States. In Michigan, they just extended the stay-at-home order until June the 12th. Trump just ordered the churches open, so hopefully we see, and he says if not, he's going to open them. So the neat thing is now we're going to see Michigan and the feds start clashing, hopefully, along with the people of Michigan, because the people really need to stand up and fight, because this is taking away our liberties. They're not trying to protect us. They're trying to take away our liberties so they can control us, and that's what they're doing in this country right now. People need to stand up and make a stand. They actually had to arm people in the Capitol this week, and they need to continue it in Michigan, in Lansing. So, because, like I said, this stuff they have to put an end to it. And you don't want to wait till you're in here, because then you lose your voice. There's not really a whole lot you can do once you get in here, other than maybe get COVID-19 and die. So it's a serious problem, and people really that are listening to me need to take this serious, because it's a major problem going on in this country, and really.
Thank you for using GTL.
Well, yeah, I want to thank Art for that. On what other show are you going to get that? Like, where you have people who are speaking to you who are under the boot of the state, who are calling in, letting you know what the truth is, and that's what Free Talk Live is all about. If you want to call in, we would love to hear from you. 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE. If you're not in the U.S., that's toll-free in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., Discord, you can listen and call in right through the Discord app. Just go to discord.lrn.fm.
Well, you said that, where do people call in from prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're sort of in the largest open-air prison in the world right now, right? I think normally it would be unique to have a caller calling in from prison. But with this like global lockdown, who's not in prison right now?
This is true. There are. It's a prison planet. I mean, Alex Jones has been on point. We're going to talk about him a little later on, and him revealing that Joe Rogan, with now moving over to Spotify, is doing something a little bit like what Howard Stern did. For those who remember when Howard Stern left terrestrial radio because of the restrictions and went to satellite, this has far larger political implications, I think. Not just the fact that Joe wants to move. One of the reasons Joe is talking about moving and leaving California, going to Texas, is because businesses are closed. He went to Texas for a fight. Businesses were open. Restaurants.
He went to Florida for the fight.
He went to Florida. I'm sorry. He went to Florida. Texas and Florida are being known as the states that right now are trying to open up. Businesses are attempting to open up, and particularly things like...
Open up, you mean kill people?
You just want people to die, Vin. You want them to die.
There's articles like the Republicans are bringing back human sacrifice.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's like the rhetoric is unbelievable. Meanwhile, you look at like the death tolls and hospitalizations, and it's like crickets.
I want to talk about that. That's here. What I really would like to do is I would like to go out. It's been so long since I went out and had a meal at a restaurant. But I remember plenty of times going out in New Hampshire when I was living there, and paying in crypto was one of my favorite things. And so many times I paid with AnyPay. And with AnyPay, more businesses can accept Bitcoin Cash and Dash, and you can earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. So finally, there's a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Just download the AnyPay Cash Register app, add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses, then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. That's anypayinc.com. It's all about financial incentives. Everything in this world is about incentives. That's why I say this whole lockdown, all of the things that are going on, it's not that there's some... This is where I disagree with Alex Jones. I don't think that there's the globalists, there's the decisions being made by the single people at the top of the pyramid. Like, I don't really believe that. I believe that what we have is a whole bunch of perverse incentives all across the board. Major, huge bureaucracies, lots of special interests. And you put them all together, you stir them up in a soup, and here you go. COVID panic. The Salem witch trials gone global.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it would be more fun if there were a bunch of lizard people and, we could get like hunting permits and all of that. But unfortunately, it's not a Alex Jones fantasy. It's, just like you said, bad incentives leading to bad outcomes. And now, one of these, I think, a lot of states are starting to learn is the tax incentives, right?
Yes.
And you were talking about Joe Rogan considering Texas and Florida and other states. Every state he mentioned, you'll notice, has no state income tax. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing $100 million deals and California has like a 13% top rate.
It's really bad.
He can basically buy himself the biggest, baddest mansion in the zip code for the savings he'll make on that $100 million just at the state level.
Just at the state level. I think on that show... I don't know, he didn't mention it, but Eddie Bravo may have said, Nevada too, and Nevada would be a great option for him with the things with the UFC and all of that. Joe Rogan would actually be perfect in Nevada. Comedy and the UFC. I would say if he leaves, I bet you he ends up going to Nevada. I bet you he just ends up popping over the border. I'll bet you.
I'd say probably Nevada or Austin.
Yeah, because he's pretty liberal. He's a pretty liberal dude.
And, Jones is in Austin, a bunch of other interesting guys.
But really, do you want to be that close to Alex Jones if you're Alex? I mean, I'm sure Alex Jones is a wonderful guy, but I'm sure that he's a lot. You know what I mean? I'm sure that he's a lot to deal with.
They've been friends for like 20 years.
Long time. But that's because they didn't have to live next door to each other. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can be good friends for a long time because you don't have to be close to somebody.
That's true.
Right? So, in terms of the...
Yeah, and he's a weed guy, so no Texas for him.
No,
right?
Nevada would be perfect for that. If you're a weed guy, like...
Yeah, so Florida, no. Texas, no. Basically, Nevada or Alaska are the no-income states.
Wyoming, maybe?
No, Wyoming, no weed.
No weed.
Washington.
Wow.
So he's got
but Washington's falling to tyranny too.
Yeah, so he's not going to a lot. He's going to Nevada. Let's be real.
Legal
weed, entertainment industry, right nearby LA. You know, Joe Rogan, he likes to pretend like he's not got a huge wad stashed away.
Of course he does.
He could fly private to, you know,
you
LA
know how
every
cheap
week.
it is? You know how cheap it is to fly charter?
A shuttle Vegas to LA.
Incredibly, and they're nice, and there's tons of them. Tons.
Or he could just take, you know, like a nice Escalade, put his feet up, kick it, work on his next show. So
dude, I know people, not even super high rollers, but just average high rollers, who would rent a limousine and have the limo drive them all the way to LA.
Yeah.
It's not that, you know what I mean? It's like you're going to have you pay for the limo for 12 hours, you pay for the gas. A lot of people, you know, and they take you there and then they deadhead it back, but you've paid them for the 12 hours and boom, it's done, you know? In terms of the cabal at the top controlling things, that may not be true in the U.S., but we should not discount how true that is in other places in the world. Places like China,
Yeah.
as Trump says, China. And this Zero Hedge article was so interesting that you sent over. And I think it probably went past a lot of people. The headline is from Zero Hedge. The headline is, "Nothing like this has happened before. China to invest $1 trillion in new plan to overtake U.S. in tech." We're going to talk about this when we come back. It's very interesting what they're investing in. I think it says everything about the direction that this is all heading. It's very Orwellian. We'd love to talk to you too. 855-450-FREE. You can call us here on Free Talk Live.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required. Only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
So you're wearing a mask every day now?
Yeah.
Where are you getting them?
Same website where I get my neck and body wraps, sunnybay.com.
Really?
And they're handmade, just like their wraps, in the USA.
Oh, and good quality?
Oh, very good. These are disposable face masks. And they make cloth face masks, too.
Good price?
That's the best part. 10 masks for only $6.
Wow.
As a public service, sunnybay.com is now making cloth face masks by hand in the Seattle area and sourcing disposable face masks with level 1 protection at sunnybay.com. Get a 10-pack of high-quality disposable face masks for only $6, or choose a handmade, washable, reusable cloth face mask with high 2 layers of quality cotton fabrics. Supplies are limited. Get details and order at sunnybay.com, a Biomed DB design company. Go to sunny-bay.com for disposable or cloth face masks. Just click sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Do you know the difference between erudite and pedantic? If you do, you're probably pedantic. But seriously, a surprising number of erudite people mispronounce erudite, which has 3 syllables, not 4. Say erudite, not erudite. Because you are judged by how you speak, you want to avoid common misstatements, especially if you're a job seeker. For instance, do you know the difference between imply and infer? Only a speaker can imply, only a listener can infer. And when you say you'll be out of pocket, do you mean out of touch? Out of pocket means you're on your own dime, not yet reimbursed. And if anyone ever asks, why do you always answer a question with a question? You should reply, do I do that? Just kidding. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. This is the Friday Lockdown Show. Marianas edition coming to you from Saipan in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I am Vin.
It's Alex.
We would love to hear from you. You can talk about anything that you would like. If you're in the U.S., toll free 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. If you are not in the U.S. or you would like to do this online because you're listening online, you can call in on the Discord call-in lines using your Discord app. And you can get into our LRN channel, discord.lrn.fm. Before we left, we're talking about this Zero Hedge article about China investing $1 trillion in a new plan to overtake the U.S. in tech. The interesting part about this is what specific, because tech is big, technology is huge. Well, so what are they spending time on? What are they concerned about? The big takeaway here is semiconductors, which for people who aren't completely familiar with that term, it is the silicon in semiconductors that are the silicon in Silicon Valley, because semiconductors are used, basically, layman's terms, we're talking about microchips. And they are doing things like, this is what's mentioned here, installing cameras and sensors, wireless networks, AI software that underpins autonomous driving to automate factories, and to do mass surveillance. Really what China is interested in, and what this lockdown has given them an opportunity to do, is to really experiment to a great degree with even more of a control grid. And what I see as the problem here, and Alex, when you sent me this over, what I addressed to you was, if this is going to be a race, which the Digital China Holdings Chief Operating Officer, Maria Kwok, said from her Hong Kong office, surrounded by facial recognition cameras and sensors, she said, quote, "Nothing like this has happened before. This is China's gambit to win the global tech race." So is what they're saying that it is a race, because it's a specific tech. They're not talking about renewable energy. They're not talking about food production. They're not talking about travel. They're talking about mass surveillance and control. So is the question is then the global tech race going to be a race between China and the West to see who can control their populations better with this technology?
It's all about AI. Whoever cracks AI first, they win everything. If you have a strong AI, you'll win the trading markets, the commodity markets, you'll be able to use your AI to generate new patents and software and code. You'll be able to perfectly monitor your supply chains. Everything can be enhanced significantly by AI, including surveillance.
Well, I think one of the things that people don't understand about AI and why there's a bottleneck. So AI really is only good if it goes along with big data. So all of the things that you mentioned, there's incredible amounts of data points available. The difficult part is not the collection. Snowden showed us that. They've been collecting all of these things from phone calls. There's so many data points out there. They've all been collected. That's not the difficult part. The difficult part is how do we analyze this data and then use that to make predictive models. We've seen how bad human beings are with predictive models. We saw this with the COVID predictive models. The dangerous part and the scary part is once you have AI, and once AI is making these predictions, you get into this minority report situation. And the more data you have, the more predictions they can make, which is why people turning on their iPhones in the past several days, seeing that there's been a new update, and some of them, the smart ones, realizing, oh, my phone has now automatically enrolled me in this Bluetooth contact tracing that's been rolled out by Apple and Google. So if you have an iPhone, you should probably go into the settings. You might want to look up and just type in Google, type in how do I remove contact tracing from my iPhone. If you got the latest update, you might want to go in because your phone is now releasing all of that data. And when there is AI,
so
that's going to be a
why
problem.
my battery life has been.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's just these things are rolling out. I think that you're absolutely right that AI is it's
the last war.
Yes.
If you win the AI race, you've won all of the next races to come.
Yes.
If you have a strong AI, you can crack encryption. You can do a ton of different things. If you think China's good at stealing IP now, imagine if they had a AI assistant. Siri, can you crack this Defense Department password? We're looking to upgrade our fighter jets.
Well, the dangerous part about AI is that the AI is able to improve itself. It's able to figure out where it's deficient. This is the real AI that you want. It's not just that you want supercomputing processor power. So that's really what you need in terms of cracking encryption. But what's AI is the fact that it can self-improve is the part that makes AI powerful, that it can figure out where it's failing. This is the high level of AI. This is not just the AI that's the artificial intelligence that's driving a car or doing something like that. This is the artificial intelligence that, like you say, is the one where you win all the wars. But the question is, do you win the war, or have you actually lost because you become a slave to artificial intelligence? This is what Elon Musk seems to believe. He seems to believe that if that's the case, that we will be slaves to this artificial intelligence that's coming. That's his message.
Yeah, there's interesting theory, the revolutionary phenotype. And essentially the idea is that when we're doing genetic engineering of humans, there's a big risk that we're unaware of because we're never going to understand the genome. Us, with our pea brains, can't comprehend the complexity of it. So we're going to use computers, we're going to use machine learning algorithms, and we're going to figure out correlations and start using them to create smarter and smarter humans. But there's going to be a point, we don't understand, it's a black box, right? We don't know what these algorithms are doing. We just know they're producing smarter and smarter humans. Let us build better AIs. So it's like this cycle where next generation builds a better AI, creates a better human, builds a better AI, creates a better human, creates a better AI. Eventually, is the computer working for you or are you working for the computer? And that's the idea where RNA and DNA, we're currently using DNA, and DNA hijacked RNA and uses RNA to replicate itself.
Right.
Likewise, the AI could use humans to replicate itself. So it's possible we could go from being, a higher order being to basically just being like a biological process for this new higher entity AI. We're similar to those like molecules, the amino acids and stuff, just doing little like movements.
Or like a white blood cell.
Yeah.
Or an antibody, right? That thinks it's going on, doing this all on its own, but it's doing it. It
thinks it's in control, but really it's a tiny part of this huge AI system. So it's the AI future has huge implications, and that's not to say that it's going to necessarily be dystopian, but I think everyone's right to realize that we have to be very, very careful because it could easily go from utopian to dystopian.
Well, this has been my biggest fear when it comes to AI, and it's actually the thesis of the great novel by William Gibson, maybe his most famous, called Neuromancer, in which that was the first time the word cyberspace was used. This is pre-internet, really. 80s he wrote this, but it's about, basically, it's a story of a guy who thinks that he's on kind of this mission. He's kind of a mercenary intelligence officer, but he's really being controlled by this AI that has gotten loose into the global system, who's moving all of these people around without them knowing, and they think that they're doing their own thing, but really it's this AI moving them around so he can connect with another AI, spoiler alert, that's in a satellite that's not connected to the Earth. And so it's about him moving around these biological entities, like you say, that can actually connect him up. And my biggest worry in all of this, as I see the censorship and the YouTube algorithms and all of these things happening, is that a sufficiently advanced AI could actually convince us sitting here, through what it allows us to see through our phones and TVs and everything, that an entire world exists that doesn't.
Yeah.
They could, like a Truman Show type of situation. And especially that's going to be more so as we go more into the virtual reality thing, as we depend more on digital communication, as deep fakes get better and better. How do we know that these individuals actually exist even? How do we know? How do we know that these events have actually taken place?
We can't.
We can't. It's an interesting...
And China wants to be in control of that first.
They want to be in control. Well, we want to know what's happening with you. We want to know what events are happening. Call us. Talk about anything you want. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,753, silver at $17.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,512. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/freekratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, Trump's new secret watch list allows government to track political and information activists with no warrant. That headline comes from the Free Thought Project, which reports that the Trump administration has created a list for the first time since 9/11 that includes American citizens with no connections to terrorism. Like the FBI's original list, the new watch list, dubbed the Transnational Organized Crime Watch List, authorized through a classified Attorney General order and launched in 2017, is expected to grow to well over 1 million names. According to an in-depth Newsweek investigation, the list also allows the government to track and monitor Americans without a warrant, even when there is no evidence they're breaking the law. That means law enforcement in America can now reportedly track and monitor Americans who have not been accused of any crime, and do so without first obtaining a warrant. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. In a landmark decision, the German Constitutional Court has ruled that mass surveillance of telecommunications outside of Germany conducted on foreign nationals is unconstitutional. Activist Post calls it a major victory for global civil liberties, but especially for those that live and work in Europe. Many will now be protected after lackluster 2016 surveillance reforms continued to authorize surveillance on EU states and institutions, and permitted the BND to collaborate with the NSA. In a press release regarding the decision, the court found that the privacy rights of the German Constitution also protects foreigners in other countries, and that the German intelligence agency had no authority to conduct telecommunications surveillance on them. The court also decided that, as currently structured, there was no way for the BND to restrict the type of data collected and who it was being collected from. Unrestricted mass surveillance posed a particular threat to the rights and safety of lawyers, journalists, and their sources. Rebecca Jones doesn't expect her replacement at Florida's DOH's Division of Disease Control and Health Protection to provide the same level of accessibility and transparency that she had been committed to providing as Geographic Information System Manager and architect of the state's lauded COVID-19 data and surveillance dashboard. Jones blames that very commitment to data accessibility and transparency as the motivating factor for her reassignment on May 5th. Mid-Press News reports in an email to a local CBS News affiliate in Tallahassee, she made the explosive allegation that superiors at the DDCHP had asked her to cook the books and, quote, manually change data to drum up support for the plan to reopen, end quote. When she refused, Jones was taken off the job and offered a settlement with the option to resign. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after beginning his first date with area woman Pauline Geary, smitten local man Brad Holtman told Onion reporters he couldn't believe that the woman was also a fan of the 1960s British rock band, the Beatles.
We were just talking about music, and she mentioned that she liked the Beatles, which is crazy because I love the Beatles, actually. Yeah, funny thing is, I was not really even looking forward to the date. I figured we get a drink or whatever, but it's turning out a lot cooler than I thought it was going to. I mean, she's just such a huge fan. She knows all the Beatles names. She even owns some of their albums. I've been a Beatles fan since like 6th or 7th grade, so I don't want to get too excited and jump into something. So I think I'm going to ask her if she's ever seen The Godfather, which is probably my top 5 movies of all time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, the Friday night show, the Marianas edition. We are coming to you live from Saipan in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I am Vin Armani.
It's Alex.
You can call in and talk to us about anything that you would like. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or you can reach us if you are online or if you are not in the U.S. on the Discord call-in lines using your Discord app. You can visit discord.lrn.fm to do that. It's the Friday lockdown show, Alex.
Well, every day's a lockdown now. But this is the Finally Friday edition of the lockdown.
There you go. Finally Friday. What's funny about the lockdowns is that nobody knows what day it is. Yeah. Have you noticed that? Like, people have forgotten what day of the week it is. But I guess if you're not going to work, you don't really need to know what day it is. You just kind of wake up.
Yeah, now that the shows aren't releasing anymore, right? They've run out of all of their backlog. It's not like, okay, there's a new Gossip Girl or whatever comes out on Thursday.
Yeah, can they? So they're not
and
allowed to, as I understand it, the governor of California has been talking about allowing them to go back and film. But as it stands right now, the studios are basically closed because almost all of those shows and whatnot are filmed, at least the sitcom style ones, are filmed in sound stages in L.A.
Well, it's changing.
Okay.
Georgia is taking over the film industry.
Interesting.
And they're much more lax regulatory-wise, tax-wise, all of that. So many of the Netflix shows are now being produced in Georgia.
Interesting.
And a lot of big shows, like I believe Walking Dead and many others,
that
are
makes
being
sense,
done in Georgia. And they're taking a lot of market share. I mean, think California, LA area, is there a more expensive area to produce? Everything is so expensive there.
I mean, San Francisco and New York would be the only but I would say LA is probably more expensive to produce in than New York, I would say. I would, because I think the production, and I say this having spent 6 seasons as a star of a show where our production company was based in Los Angeles. The show was filmed in Las Vegas. But it's the talent that you get in LA in terms of your production talent. The amount that they demand is much higher than, I'm sure, and I'm talking about an editor, camera ops, sound guy, all of that. The amount that someone who's a professional, very experienced, is able to demand is significantly more in LA than in, let's say, a smaller production market like Atlanta, even than New York, if they're doing something that's not, let's say, like news related or something like that. So yeah, this is bad for Hollywood. This is very, very bad. People have been trying to leave for years, and this is going to be very, very bad for them.
Well, I think it'll be good for the media. It's going to be good for everything that California has had a lockdown on is about to be released.
Including Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
who called Alex Jones. If people haven't seen the Alex Jones video, hopefully it hasn't been taken down from YouTube yet, but to go and see Alex Jones announcing on behalf of Joe Rogan that Joe Rogan's going to war with big tech is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Alex Jones is a character, I'm so glad that we have Alex Jones out there. 20 years, pretty consistent guy overall. He's been on the same spiel, and he started off as like a journalist. He ambushed the Bush. He was asking him these tough questions. What about this? What about that? And they're like, get this guy out of here. Who let in the real news? Right? I thought it was fake news only. Before fake news was fake news, Alex Jones was, trying to do his thing. And then he became a meme. Yes. He's like a living meme now.
The globalists.
They're turning the frogs gay.
Turning the frogs gay. Alex Jones himself was really relishing talking about this. Basically what's happening is Joe Rogan is going to Spotify exclusively. It's going to be like phased out in terms of his content. It's going to stay on YouTube initially, but in September, Joe Rogan is going to go over to Spotify. He did a $100 million deal. He's basically going to be exclusive to Spotify. The stuff that comes out new is going to be coming out exclusively on Spotify. Joe Rogan, according to Alex Jones, called Alex Jones and said, I'm going to Spotify and I'm going to war with YouTube and all of them.
Not just that. He called him. According to Alex Jones, he's like, Alex, I'm done. I'm done. I've had it. You know,
I'm sure there's some exaggeration in there from Alex Jones, but it's probably pretty accurate.
He said the catalyst had to do with his Musk interview, right? He had Elon on, and it didn't get many views, and he was saying they were suppressing it because Musk was like very anti-lockdown, like skeptical, all of that, and he's like, "There's no way, like this should be trending on YouTube." Musk is like a superstar.
Agreed.
I'm a superstar. How is this not like #1 trending every day for like the next week?
He finally woke up.
He knew the whole time, but it was just like now it's becoming, the stakes are higher.
Right.
It's different when he has like some controversial, you know, quote unquote alt-right person, or the new thing, alt-right adjacent. Right? It's like when they like, we want to call you like racist, but you haven't actually said anything racist. We'll just say you're like adjacent to the racists. And so like he has some alt-right adjacent person on, and you know he understands when that gets shadow banned or suppressed, because it's like, oh, you know, they're just community guidelines and family friendly and ad safe. But when it's Elon Musk, like he's family friendly, he's not breaking any rules, he's just saying things they don't like, and they're suppressing him, and he's just thinking like, why am I putting up with this when I have? So he probably had the Spotify offer just sitting for a while.
I'm sure.
And he was been talking with them back and forth, like, you know,
you don't get to $100 million like overnight, right?
Yeah.
That takes a while.
And after that, seeming from what Alex Jones said, that was it. He was just like, I'm done. I'm so sick of these people trying to control everything. And this is un-American, right? Jones mentioned a lot about the patriotic aspect of it, where Joe really cares about free speech. I mean, he's a comic.
Right.
If he can't say whatever, he can't be a comic.
Right.
You can't worry about what you're going to say, like offending people or being too taboo. Like that's part of the comic game.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
that's the role. That's the positive role of the court jester, right? The comic is to point out the absurdities of those in power.
Yeah.
But he's under their.
Now, like,
he'd been under their boot, you know.
Yeah, they said you can't open where he practices the comedy store. That's in LA. So they're saying until July. He's like, what? We can't practice till July? This isn't. Why?
And it's not just practice, but I mean, the way he talks about the comedy store, it's a very important place for him socially, just to be able to go and be with his friends. He's been hanging out there for decades. You know, it is quite, I mean, I've been there quite a few times. You know, I lived in LA for basically 10 years. And it is quite the comic hangout where you will just show up and you won't know who you're going to see. And then like famous person after famous person after famous person comes on stage, and there's like, I don't know, less than 100 people in there. Like you could go there on a Tuesday night, you know, and that's something very special. But it's something as an artist that you have to have. And to continue to be inspired.
It's like a cluster. How we're trying to build a crypto cluster in the Mariana Islands.
Right.
They built a comedy cluster in LA.
Right. We would be, if we could have this place be a crypto culture in that way, and a cluster of cool individuals who had interesting things to say, interesting thoughts, who spent time with each other. It's a small enough community. It's a beautiful enough place. Spend, you know, every other day together, hanging out and doing whatever, and just run into people on the street. I think that would be pretty amazing.
We could match China's $1 trillion in capital with our human capital. We'd win the AI race.
Human capital is where it's all at. Human
America.
capital is where it's all at. You out there are our human capital on this show. We have callers on the line. We've got Matthew from Ntary, Louisiana. We've got Scott from Florida. We are going to get to you guys. Next segment will be all about you. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Anyone else, we'd love to hear what you have to say. 855-450-FREE is the call-in. 855-450-3733. When we're back, we're talking to Matthew and Scott. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com. Free Talk Live.
If I was freezing to death in the car with the keys on the floor, I've still been charged in New York. In any case, so what happened with me was, they threatened me with 4.5 years in a state prison, and this is what led me to the ideas of liberty. That I say, this is crazy. I didn't hurt anybody. What's going through my head is, this can't happen. I have to stop them. I should just go out blasting.
Thanks for not doing it, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I like hanging out with you. It's going swimmingly. So this whole living thing. There's a lot to it. But when I got involved with the Libertarian Party, I was kind of looking. The idea was I was looking for something to die for, frankly, and I found something to live for. Aww. As I'm going forward, I'm finding things that I can do instead of getting myself killed. And this is, the gist of the story of how the Libertarian Party saved my life. That this was my introduction to all of these things.
Interesting.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the Friday Lockdown Show. I am Vin.
It's Alex.
You can call in and talk about anything you want. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can also get in on the Discord listen and call-in lines on your Discord app. Discord.lrn.fm is the place to go to do that. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There is no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches, because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at diviproject.org. That's D-I-V-I project.org. Well, you can call in and talk about anything that you would like. And Matthew from Nateri, Louisiana, he's listening on the TuneIn app, wants to let us know that China owns us. Matthew, tell us a little more about that.
Well, this is kind of a pun off of China Uncensored, because, China has different maps of the world, and they have an ancient map of the world that basically only they can see, and basically they own everything. So you're living in China. I'm living in China. Everybody's living in...
Expand on this further. I know what you're talking about.
Go ahead. Tell us.
So there's disputed borders all around China, and there's always been. But maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, China released this 9-dash line where they claimed the entire South China Sea as China's historical property based on some old maps that show, look at this old map. Chinese territory included like everything around here. Totally, tossing out the norms on where borders end, where the sea borders, airspace, all of that. So our maps predate all of these customs. These are our historical territories, and thus we own them. So you had these maps they love to show, the 9-dash line map. It just includes like parts of Vietnam, Japan, and other neighboring countries as part of Chinese territory.
But why? I mean, why not? Isn't this what Israel is using in terms of them being able to draw some of their lines? Is they're like, no, this is the historical land of our people. Look, we've got a map. It's called the Bible. Like it's to them, it's not called the Bible, right? It's the Torah or the Tanakh. Like we've got this. This is ours. Like this was promised to us by God.
There is a thing about that though. This is Vin that I'm speaking to, right?
Yes,
Israel's willing to pay. Israel's willing to pay for it. In China, not so much. And then there was another thing y'all were talking about, the censorship on YouTube, and I'm just amazed because they have been censoring and removing videos from accredited medical professors, such as the guys who run MedCram, and I'm like, this is insane. A difference of opinion about the relative effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine and zinc sulfate, and next thing you know, oh my God, we have to remove that information. And other people who contradict what the the Chinese-controlled WHO is saying, and I'm like,
hey, we know firsthand. Although slightly less accredited, Dave and I were pulled off YouTube live stream, just cut for no reason while we were just talking about coronavirus and other related matters. So, they're really turning it up.
Well, and on your China-controlled WHO, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, if you go and you look at the funding, China's about I think it's like number 10. The first biggest funder of the WHO is the U.S. government. The second biggest funder is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to the tune of about 10%. They're actually more than the next, which is the UK.
Well, it's not just about money.
That's actually, and trust me, you can bet your bottom dollar that Mr. Tedros is probably getting some gifts from the Chinese that he's not disclosing on his income tax, his Ethiopian income tax. Which Ethiopia is part of the Belt and Road Initiative.
A baseless assertion, right? This year, the FBI has caught dozens of professors receiving like undeclared income from Chinese sources, like Harvard professors and other. I think it was like one of the top bio professors at Harvard, like some kind of department chair or something like that, was caught receiving kickbacks. Others like $50,000 a month in undeclared income. So China plays a smart game. Let's be real here. They're like,
well,
why?
They play the long game, and frankly, their game is basically they want the Han Chinese to dominate the world, not just China per se, because let's face it, the Uyghurs are technically nationally Chinese, but they're currently concentrating on becoming better Chinese in these places where they are taught to concentrate. They're called concentration camps.
Concentration camps, right. Yes, I fully agree. I think that, there's China is a major player. Thank you for your call, Matthew. China is a major player in the entire global narrative, although I think that China's threat to the average American citizen is significantly less than the threat from the government that is closest to you, starting with your local government and then your state government, the governors of these various different states, and then, of course, your federal government. I think Orwell really, in 1984, said this so well and expressed it so well in all of the times that, we are at war with East Asia. We have always been at war with East Asia. And then we're at war with Eurasia. We've always been at war with Eurasia. China, if you really had a problem with China, go through your house and throw out everything that says made in China and never buy anything else that says made in China. And that includes all of every component that's in your consumer goods.
If you want to weaken China, just drain them. The easiest way to stop China is to take all the wealthy people in China want to leave.
Why are we stopping?
All the smart people in China, they want to leave.
Why are we stopping? Why does it benefit me, Vin Armani, to do anything to the Chinese government?
It does. I'm not saying it does.
So why am I spending time on that? Why?
We're not spending time on it, but it's like that's what there's like the China hawks, right? It's like if you're a China hawk, bring all the Chinese students to American universities, create a millionaire. What I'm thinking is they should have a visa. Right now we have EB-5 investor visa.
Right.
It's about $800,000, the minimum investment, and there's a limit per country. China's backed up 8 years their limit.
Right.
Instead of doing that, or if we're going to do that, let's have a bid. So if there's 10,000 slots for Chinese, let's have them bid on it. And that would work really well because part of it's a status symbol. If you get a green card through investment, that shows you're killing it.
I just think that this whole thing of even just trying to deal with somebody else's government, it's like it's why deal with the mote in your neighbor's eye before you remove the plank out of your own. We've got more calls coming up. Yeah, and we can't wait to get to them. Lines are full. We'd love to hear from you. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Saddle up. It's new Dynavite for horses.
They're always on the move, always eating, grazing 17 to 20 hours a day.
In their natural state, they eat only grass.
Picture a pasture or a plain.
The nice big pasture that's very green.
The grasses and the different plants.
That's your basic forage.
I don't think there's anywhere on the planet where you have consistent, healthy pasture all year.
So we start supplementing with the hay and the grain. The grain has a lot of sugars in it, and the hay, the dried out hay, loses a lot of nutrients.
Curing under the sun, it loses about 80% of the beta-carotene, omega-3s, and vitamin E.
So Ed has figured out how to freeze-dry the greenness in the grass.
I said, why don't I make a supplement that's as close to healthy pasture as I could get?
All of the nutrients that are lost when the grass becomes the hay. I like Dynavite. It's simple, it's straightforward. My horses get what they need. I can see immediate results.
Check out new Dynavite for horses at Dynavite.com.
It doesn't take much, just one little scoop. I get my Dynavite from DINOVITE.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Friday Lockdown Show. Coming to you from Saipan in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I am Vin.
It's Alex.
Alex, have you heard of Intercoin?
I have.
Intercoin is working to make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. If you missed your opportunity to get in on Bitcoin from the start, then here is your chance to join the next revolution in money. Check out intercoin.org, and if you like what you see, pick up some of those coins for yourself. Just as the internet is a global network that connects local networks, Intercoin is a global currency platform that enables communities around the world to issue and manage their own currency so they may circulate it among their local population. Intercoin enables fintech innovation on the local community level, leading to stronger communities, greater sustainability, less poverty, and more productivity. Check out intercoin.org for more info. That's intercoin.org. Alex, We've got callers, man. I think the last little discussion that we had fired some people up. Scott in Florida, he's been hanging on the line. He wants to tell us, I think a lot of people would agree, he wants to talk to us about how America is on the verge of collapse. Scott, I don't necessarily disagree with you. What's going on, brother?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm happy for you. This is what I want to say. America is on the verge of going down, and those people that say that I'm a kook or whatever, just open up your eyes and see what's going on. These are biblical proportions, and let me elaborate what's going on. You've got 40 million, verge of 50 million people unemployed. You've got an economy that's in shambles. You've got a coronavirus that has not been 100% contained. They're talking about it. There could be another stage coming back to it, another appearance of the coronavirus. Americans are already spooked from that. You've got a Federal Reserve that's printing up trillions and trillions of dollars, so eventually our money's going to become like monopoly money, confetti. You've got, oh my God, you've got our infrastructure is falling apart, food shortages, and what disturbs me the most is a government that would make George Orwell envious. We are literally Big Brother, epitomizes it. I hate the United States government. I despise it. I fear it. You don't have to go to China or Russia to fear their governments. America is right up there with its yes, we have a totalitarian government, absolutely. And Americans that think that we're free, you're kidding yourself. You're only as free as what the government wants you to be free. And until the FBI goons or CIA or ATF or whatever the hell they are knock at your door. It's very scary and it's very unsettling. I find it very unsettling. And, let's focus on the Federal Reserve for one moment. I know you got other callers. Very briefly. You got a Federal Reserve that's out of control, that's printing up trillions. So they're going to have hyperinflation, and it's going to be before this year closes. And what that means is we have a dollar that could become like Venezuela or Zimbabwe, and those people that laugh, well, let me tell you something. It's going to happen. It has to happen because you cannot keep printing up dollars at this ferocious rate. So a loaf of bread today, what is a loaf of bread, gentlemen, in a supermarket? What is it around? What would you say?
I think I'm paying around $3.50 for a loaf of bread here in Saipan.
Well, who's to say that a loaf of bread isn't going to be $10, $15?
Yeah, could be.
And it's very scary. And so you've got this Federal Reserve, which is not federal. It's a private organization. And since 1913, it has lost 96, 97% of its face value. So as I was saying on a broadcast earlier this week, you need to buy gold. If you can't buy gold, buy silver. Buy precious metals. Buy a piece of land. Buy something tangible so that it's not this phony fiat funny money. And
let me push back a little bit. So I agree with most of what you're saying, right? The U.S. government is a far bigger threat to Americans than any other government.
Of course.
And the money printing and fiscal and monetary policy is atrocious. However, I think empirically, when we look at 2007 and 2008 and other, financial shocks, it doesn't seem that printing money necessarily leads to inflation if you are the reserve currency. So my thesis would be, as long as the U.S. is the least bad option, where you're going to put your money instead. The average person is not going to use gold. The average person is not going to use crypto. Until that changes, there's nowhere to put the money, so you have to put it in dollars. In fact, the dollar is strengthening now. More and more people from other countries with weaker currencies, weaker stock markets, weaker economies are saying, we're going to enter a Great Depression. Do I want to bet on the U.S. economy or my local, mediocre country? And people are increasingly voting with their money and saying, as bad as the U.S. situation is going to be, my home country is worse. And as long as that's the case, it seems unlikely that there'll be hyperinflation.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Scott. I think that there are a lot of, there's a lot of different opinions on this. It's hard to know. Everybody's making a prediction. You've got to make a prediction.
Well, you can always hedge, right?
Well, this is
That's
the
what
thing.
I would say. Do a little hedge.
Yes. The dollar is still definitely king.
Don't bet the house on gold, but have a few percent in your portfolio can't hurt.
That no matter which way it goes, that definitely can't hurt. Let's get to some more calls. We've got Steve. He's in Fort Smith, Arkansas. He's listening on KPFW. He's got a response to Matthew, who we heard from. Steve, you wanted to say a little something about Matthew said China owns us. You have a different opinion on that?
Well, no, the comment was made. First of all, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great, man. How are you?
Good, doing well. He was talking about how he was talking about Israel.
Yeah,
and one of my pet peeves is when people start talking about Israel. I mean, I support Israel; they're our ally, but I don't believe that Israel is a viable country. They lost that land. Yes, the Lord gave them that land. He had to deliver them back to that land several times in Scripture because they couldn't keep it. They couldn't follow instructions. They didn't want to listen to him. They wanted to do their own thing. So it fell into the hands of several different countries or groups of people. After World War II, when the U.S. and our allies decided that we needed to form the nation of Israel and kick the Palestinians and Muslims out of that land, people wonder why there's so much terrorism over there and why terrorists hate America so much. And it's because we basically did that. And there's never going to be peace there. That whenever in the New Testament, when the Lord is talking about Israel, he's not talking about the geographical borders of Israel. Why do you think there were so many Jews in Germany, in Europe? Because they had no land. They had lost their land generations before. So, in my opinion, Israel shouldn't even be there.
I mean, I think that, that's
it's probably the majority opinion of the world.
Certainly in the region. Whether it is or not, what I will say is that I fully support, and thank you for the call, Steve. I fully support I think people have to be able to speak openly about this. It's been very weird to see.
If you criticize Israel, you're anti-Semitic.
Well, but even people that don't. It's now getting to the point, like David Icke, when he was being censored off of YouTube and taken down, there was this whole narrative. And someone in a recent interview even asked me, you've interviewed David Icke before. What do you think about him being censored for his anti-Semitic views? And I was like, what are you talking about? I've consumed everything this dude has done for the last 20 years. Never once has he said anything anti-Semitic. He's done exactly talking about different nations. He's talked about the nation of Israel and things that have happened in a historical context. Never once has he said anything anti-Semitic or even closing in on that. And so I find it to be so crazy that these are the discussions that are being censored when it's so valuable to talk about them. There's a great book called The Siege of Mecca that goes into this whole history of the Saudis and their relationship with the state of Israel and all of this. Very interesting, great historical book that most Americans don't even know that Mecca was under siege a period of time from inside Saudi Arabia. You can give us a call. We'd love to talk with you about that or anything else. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
After about a month of Extendovite, I don't know what it is about the circulation factor. I was able to increase the weight, increase the amount of sets I could do. It has to do with the oxygen getting to the blood. You should market this as an athletic performance. And I don't change anything about my diet or anything. I just thought, what the hell is in this stuff? This is amazing. Bilberry extract is got something called resveratrol in it, which is the same stuff that you get from red wine. It's also good for eyesight. And I was reading that the Royal Air Force during World War II would give their pilots bilberry jam so they could have better night vision stuff. This is amazing.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Advertising is simple. It starts with someone who has a need.
Mom!
And then gets more specific.
Mom, I want pizza.
Then we add urgency.
I want pizza tonight.
Before you know it, your GCN advertising message is reaching millions of listeners. Listeners who are definitely in need.
We want pizza!
You see, advertising on GCN is simple. Your message meets their need, and the result means new business for you. Tell us about your business. Then let our super creative department go to work to craft just the right message to feed those who have an urgent need.
We want pizza tonight!
GCN has the most affordable national radio advertising rates, period. And millions of people listen to GCN radio programs on over 1,000 AM and FM and XM stations and streaming audio live. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just shoot us an email, advertise@gcnlive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, Friday night show, the Marianas edition, coming to you live from the island of Saipan. I'm Vin Armani.
It's Alex.
We've had some good calls. It's the Friday Night Lockdown show.
The best show of the week on Free Talk Live.
Well, if we do say so ourselves. If you want to get in on the action, you can call us to 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. It's now the weather is beautiful here. Here in Saipan, it's always beautiful. I was telling somebody recently, they were like, well, what would you compare it to that I've been to? I was like, well, have you been to Florida? And they're like, yeah, because I gave them a few different places. And they were like, yeah, I've been to Florida. I was like, well, it's kind of like Florida, not as humid. Hank from Florida, he's listening on the radio. He says Florida is great right now. Hank, what's it like? What's it like in Florida? It's evening there, but how's Florida been?
Hey, I'll tell you guys, I'm so blessed to live in Marion County, Florida. I mean, we have used common sense and do common practice, but we're a free country down here. I feel so sorry for those people up north locked down. I mean, the theme parks are getting ready to open back up. The beaches are open. Life is good around here. The water's open. I mean, there's plenty of sunshine and plenty of healthy people going around, and
you have restaurants open? Are the restaurants open over there, Hank?
Oh, yeah, the bars, restaurants, everything's getting ready to open. A lot of them have already opened.
Oh, yeah. I want a bar so bad, man. I've been wanting to go to a bar.
Yeah, we have
you
some
just don't know how nice
too.
it was last week when things started opening back up. And they are somewhat restaurant bars, but they're allowing them to open up and, to go out and eat and be able to tip the waitress and the bartender. And to be able to, it's just so great. The casinos in Tampa, the Indian casinos, they're opening back up today. The alligator farm down in Orlando is opening up. SeaWorld and Disney World getting opened up. I mean, the U.S. government and NASA officials are telling you not to come watch the rocket go off this week. But the mayor of the county and the sheriff and everybody saying, please come. Down there in Cocoa, that mostly in Port Canaveral, they survive off cruise ships. And there ain't no cruise ships right now, so a rocket launch would do wonders for their economy, and they know that. And, I would just feel blessed.
Hank, let me ask you something here. My concern has been for a long time that states like Florida and things that we're hearing from Texas, that really what this potentially could be at a cultural level is that we could have, again, this cultural divide between the states that we haven't had at a significant level, certainly since the 60s, that could turn into something weird, like National Guard troops at borders. We already saw your governor down there putting up checkpoints against the people coming in from Louisiana, stopping the New Yorkers at the airport. I'm worried that may be a future that we're looking at. What do you think about that idea that these other states aren't going to open up and these states are going to sort of have a little bit of a cold war between one another in terms of people traveling between them?
Well, I own my own small business, and I've been privileged to stay open. I'm considered essential. I do auto work. But I've been blessed to meet a lot of customers that are coming here from other states. They come here, and they do the 2-week lockdown. A lady from New York, she's been here for about a month and a half. She came in, and she was my customer the other day, and she's just so glad to get out of that. She stayed at home for 2 weeks after she got here. But, hey, you know, like I say, her time's up, and now she's just as free as the rest of us. I do live just 30 miles south of Alachua County, and, you know, the Democrat socialist people that control that, it's the University of Florida. University of Florida's up there and everything, so the rules are a little different up there. They're still trying to enforce rules that nobody else is basically enforcing around here, but, you know, I just feel blessed that I'm where I'm at. And I feel for those that are living in these Democrat, socialist states, you know, under fascism, and they're losing their rights of all kinds, and businesses are not allowed to be open and things like that. And, you know, there's always an injustice when it comes to the big box stores. They get to be open while a lot of the private businesses don't get to be open. And it's strange how you go to some box stores and they have real strict requirements, social distancing, clean this and clean that. And then you go into other stores and it's kind of like a free-for-all, especially around here in Marion County. I guess just because we're blessed with very few cases, but I'm not saying that, you know, it can't happen. But I think people are aware, you know, we're using better hygiene and better social practice than ever before, but at the same time, we're moving forward with life, and I think that's what the rest of the world's got to do slowly.
Well, Hank, I appreciate your call. You stay safe down there in Florida. Thanks for letting us know. Alex, it's really interesting the way that this patchwork of, you know, this county's doing this county's doing this, like Hank has brought up, this is happening everywhere in every state. And then this state is doing this state is doing that. That is an indication and a signal to me that this is all based on personal preference and superstition. Because when you have that big of a difference, even in bordering counties, there's no data involved or real medical
step over one imaginary line, and it's all of a sudden full lockdown mode.
Exactly.
The other side, like no masks are required, bars are open. It's pretty...
Yeah, it reminds me of the whole, you know, four corners where you've got Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada, right? Where they're like they're on each other. Is Nevada on the four corners? Four corners? I believe I'm not tripping right now. And you step over, you know, into each one, and the laws change. Yeah, and that's really what we've got. It may be Utah. I think it's Utah. I think I'm blowing it here. I think that's Utah's the one in the Northwest. I could be wrong. But it's basically that. And it's the thing of stepping from one state to the other, and like this ounce of marijuana that you've got is completely legal here. And then you step, whoop, and now all of a sudden you could be like put in prison for it for like 3 years. You know, this is what's happening on like a county by county level. And I think that should be maybe the biggest signal to people that nobody knows what the heck is going on. And they're just doing this all off the top of their head, and it just completely depends on how totalitarian the person in that particular position in a given county, state, or whatever is. It has nothing to do with science, nothing to do with data or medicine.
Yeah, and I think the media narrative also plays a big role. Because I saw there was an interview with the Florida governor, I think DeSantis, something like that.
Yeah, DeSantis.
And he was talking about, you know, the media has just been so horrible. They didn't cover Florida. Well, they're having a love fest with the two brothers, the Cuomo brothers, which, how is that journalism? Isn't there a conflict of interest to interview your own brother?
You think? You think?
So while they're, having their little love fest on there, patting each other on the back for how good they do, even though they were both horrible, right?
Yes, exactly.
The infected Cuomo was breaking his quarantine and out and about, and the other Cuomo, he's sending the infected people to nursing homes. Meanwhile, in Florida, in March, they said, we must protect the nursing homes. They looked around the world. They said, okay, the majority of deaths are old people, like over 80. Let's focus all of our energy on protecting those people, and everyone else should be in pretty good shape if they practice like reasonable, precautionary measures. So they told the hospitals, we don't care, if it affects your capacity numbers. Keep the people in nursing homes there if you think they're infected, because we cannot send them back. We cannot send back these potential ticking time bombs, infect the whole nursing homes. So Florida was one of the highest proportion of elderly in the country.
Yes.
Has one of the lowest per capita death rates.
Because they actually did. This is the key. They focused on the most vulnerable populations and spent all of their energy about how do we protect these vulnerable individuals, rather than spending all of their energy on how hard can we lock down otherwise healthy people, or people who will not really suffer from this disease even if they get it. All the other states like California, like New York, are focused on how hard can we lock our population down, whereas states like Florida are like, how do we protect the vulnerable population?
And the media is not holding them accountable.
No,
they like to focus on the beaches. Oh, look at the spring breakers in Miami Beach.
And?
They're going to kill thousands.
And they didn't.
Meanwhile, the nursing homes, how about the 24/7 subways in New York?
Thank you.
Why was there no coverage of how terrible an idea that was?
Thank you.
So it's atrocious to see what's going on here.
It's no principle. It's all personal preference. But the goal with liberty is you got to have principle over preference, or else you're not going to get liberty. There's got to be principle with no excuses. Go ahead and give us a call. Talk about whatever you want. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,753, silver at $17.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,512. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, Trump's new secret watch list allows government to track political and information activists with no warrant. That headline comes from the Free Thought Project, which reports that the Trump administration has created a list for the first time since 9/11 that includes American citizens with no connections to terrorism. Like the FBI's original list, the new watch list, dubbed the Transnational Organized Crime Watch List, authorized through a classified Attorney General order and launched in 2017, is expected to grow to well over 1 million names. According to an in-depth Newsweek investigation, the list also allows the government to track and monitor Americans without a warrant, even when there is no evidence they're breaking the law. That means law enforcement in America can now reportedly track and monitor Americans who have not been accused of any crime, and do so without first obtaining a warrant. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. In a landmark decision, the German Constitutional Court has ruled that mass surveillance of telecommunications outside of Germany conducted on foreign nationals is unconstitutional. Activist Post calls it a major victory for global civil liberties, but especially for those that live and work in Europe. Many will now be protected after lackluster 2016 surveillance reforms continued to authorize surveillance on EU states and institutions, and permitted the BND to collaborate with the NSA. In a press release regarding the decision, the court found that the privacy rights of the German Constitution also protects foreigners in other countries, and that the German intelligence agency had no authority to conduct telecommunications surveillance on them. The court also decided that, as currently structured, there was no way for the BND to restrict the type of data collected and who it was being collected from. Unrestricted mass surveillance posed a particular threat to the rights and safety of lawyers, journalists, and their sources. Rebecca Jones doesn't expect her replacement at Florida's DOH's Division of Disease Control and Health Protection to provide the same level of accessibility and transparency that she had been committed to providing as Geographic Information System Manager and architect of the state's lauded COVID-19 data and surveillance dashboard. Jones blames that very commitment to data accessibility and transparency as the motivating factor for her reassignment on May 5th. MidPress News reports in an email to a local CBS News affiliate in Tallahassee, she made the explosive allegation that superiors at the DDCHP had asked her to cook the books and, quote, manually change data to drum up support for the plan to reopen, end quote. When she refused, Jones was taken off the job and offered a settlement with the option to resign. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Every 44 seconds, someone in the United States suffers a heart attack. In 9 out of 10 instances, the heart attack victim will fail to theatrically stumble to the ground and grasp their chest. Don't be a statistic. A heart attack occurs when oxygenated blood is obstructed from flowing properly to the heart muscle and requires victims to act quickly by lurching around with one hand clutching their chest and the other hand reaching out for drapes, blinds, or tablecloths to violently yank out. The first 30 seconds of a heart attack is a critical window. If standing at the time of an attack, move into what is known as the L position by doubling over and grimacing in an unnaturally strained fashion. Use one outstretched hand to grasp for support as you stumble forward, while using the other trembling arm to sweep everything off a table.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. It's the Friday Lockdown Show, aka the Marianas edition. We are coming to you from the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, the island of Saipan. Yes, in the middle of the Pacific. To be specific, I am Vin Armani.
It's Alex.
I think that this has been an interesting show. It's been kind of an optimistic show. What I've thought and what I've predicted was that people were eventually going to get fed up with this and start opening up. I've been seeing a little bit around here, even that seeming to happen where I was like, oh, that's interesting. As I was driving down the street, that cafe hasn't been open. There's one just in Garapan, which is like our entertainment district. And it was open. And I was like, interesting. And then I looked and I'm seeing, little improvements being made here and there on buildings. And I'm like, oh, they're looking to open up. So we'd love to hear from you how it's going, whether you're locked down like crazy in California or whether it's something a little different. We heard that some counties in Florida are okay. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can also reach us in the Discord chat app where you can listen and call right in Discord, discord.lrn.fm. You know what I saw that was interesting that I saw, speaking of that, as I was actually coming here to do the show this morning? There is a new billboard right on Oleai Beach now, kind of at that main intersection there, where it says, do your part to stop the spread. Get tested for COVID-19. And then, interestingly, yesterday, all of these they look almost like handmade, but they're all on the same kind of, I guess you would call that a billboard, like the original term of small lean-to billboard that look like they're hand-drawn, and they all say things like, we're in this together. Mariana's strong. We'll get through this. And I'm like, hold on. Get through what?
Yeah, what do we have, 19 cases?
Total. But it's like they've tested thousands. And so far, I think they've come up with like 5. They just recently said, oh, we've got a new positive case, but asymptomatic, because nobody is presenting to the hospital with actual COVID-19 symptoms. So the only way they get a confirmed positive is by pushing people to go and get tested. And then some percentage of those people come back as being positive. Asymptomatic. But what's your reward? What's your reward for going and getting tested even though you have no symptoms?
Go to jail.
Yeah. So you get thrown in quarantine at one of the resorts that's being paid for by FEMA, which they have. So they had one person recover totally, which basically just means you sit there asymptomatic for 3 weeks, right? You sit there, you have no symptoms, and you sit there for 3 weeks. That's what's been happening.
3 or 2?
It's 3 for the people who are positive. It's 2 if you just come onto the island and you have no symptoms or anything. You have to go into a 2-week quarantine.
Well, I heard now it's until you're tested. So you come on, you go to quarantine, and then they test you, and then you can be released.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, we had to spend 2 weeks, but who's going to pay the salaries of all of these armed officers? You go in front of the resort that's got the quarantine for the sick people, you'll see 5 armed. Mind you, there's a total of like 4 people in that resort quarantine. In an entire resort quarantine, the front entrance, you'll see like 5 armed police as guards. And then stationed every 30 yards. Let's not make it too
intimidating. They're chilling in a tent, just talking and, hanging out.
I understand. I'm not saying like they're patrolling with ARs. What I'm saying is these people are being paid.
Yeah.
and the people working inside are being paid. And when the number of armed guards for a quarantine outnumbers the number of people inside by a factor of 3 or 4 at any given time, there's a problem. There's something being mismanaged. You can believe me. It
I
takes
believe Mark was saying we have the highest guard to prisoner ratio of any place in the country.
world. Yeah, I
perhaps
I
the
believe
world.
that.
Yeah,
I believe that. Let's go to the phones. I made a call out for people to tell us how things are going in their neck of the woods. Shane is in Nevada. He's checking us out on YouTube right now. Shane, how's it going? Shane, are you there?
James.
Hey, Shane. James. I'm sorry. James in Nevada. Go ahead, sir.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, Chairman Arvik, members of the Noble Committee, ladies and gentlemen, words of gratitude expressed by Eli Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor, who, by the way, his last residence during the Holocaust was liberated by men driving Sherman tanks. He shows respect for authorities even after him being a victim of the worst state atrocity ever in humankind, unlike you two. And I wouldn't call Alex anti-Semitic when he applauds the world's majority of population doesn't respect the country of Israel, of which every single country east of Israel, the day it was declared an independent nation, all those theocratic gangster regimes declared war on Israel, not the other way around. Thank God Israel defeated them. Because Israel, unlike all the other countries east of Jerusalem, you have a freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and Jews and non-Jews are respected their rights as God-given to them anywhere in Israel. But try going east of Israel, Alex, and start railing against your government or their governments. Have some balls for once in your life and do just that. I'd love to throw you out of a plane in Mecca, literally, dressed in pink, and you can wave your rainbow flag and find out how much life you have left to live.
Why would Alex be waving a rainbow flag? I don't understand. Why would Alex be dressed in pink?
They don't have any respect for gays. They don't have respect for Jews, and yet you defend them. Israel is the one free country in the Middle East.
Who are we defending?
The greatest country in the Middle East, the only country in the Middle East where you could be a queer, you could have freedom of religion and freedom of speech in public and not have anything to worry about.
They don't like black people very much, my friend. They don't like black people very much, and we're black.
I didn't want to get on the rant about that. I wanted to talk about Suicide Island, which you're living on right now, which thanks to Sherman tanks, the locals couldn't be more than happy to see Sherman tanks, but it turned into Suicide Island because the people that used to be rightfully thought of with a four-letter pejorative, that were xenophobic mass murderers, the original Eisen groupies, who did to the locals savage things. And now, thanks to Sherman tanks, you live in the empire of the Mariana Islands that will never be invaded by four-letter racist, xenophobic army members that had murdered millions of people before they dropped bombs on Pearl Harbor.
You're very concerned about people being invaded. You're very concerned about invasions happening. Why?
No,
you're very. That's a very big concern for you.
An ounce of self-reflection. If you heard a word I've said, your island where you have a freedom to rail against your government and you have a freedom to live, is never going to be invaded because of the U.S. military and because the Sherman tanks that you rail about and have no respect for. That also
I think it's the opposite. We're more likely to invade.
Hold on. I'm gonna put James on hold. I'm gonna put you on hold for just a second, James, so that we can respond, and then you can respond again because you like to interrupt. Go ahead, Alex. Let us respond, James.
We're more likely to be invaded as part of the U.S. than as not. Right? There's places like Fiji, same area. They're not invaded by China. Why isn't Fiji invaded by China? There's no reason to.
Well, I think that there's a deeper issue here, and the issue is, I think that there are two mutually exclusive concepts here. James both wants to celebrate America and say that America is great, but he does not want there to be criticism from the citizens of the current government or of the policies of the government. And yet that is the fundamental basis of why America is great, is because you are allowed. And even James is acknowledging that America is great because we are allowed to disagree with and speak against the policies of the government. And he says other countries are not great because of that. But yet he doesn't want us to speak out against the government.
I don't think
James,
you've ever listened to a word.
James, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, James. We've got to take off for just a second. I'm sure we'll hear from you next week, brother. Yeah. So we will talk to you then. We'll talk to the rest of you when we're back. This is Free Talk Live.
We call him Willy Wonka. He's a chocolate lab. His belly itched, and he would actually lay in the grass and scoot across it to scratch it.
DINOVITE.com. Dinovite is nutrition.
His belly, it's all really cleaned up. He flops over and lays on his back and just kicks his legs. I call it his happy dance.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, Friday night show, Marianas edition. From the island of Saipan, I am Vin.
It's Alex.
We're here under lockdown. Some places are starting to open up. The summer is going to be interesting. It's going to be hard to keep people locked in their house as the weather starts to get nice, and especially, people trying to lock down the beaches, trying to lock down campgrounds. Fork Fest in New Hampshire. I heard that Pork Fest, which is before, but this is Fork Fest, which is the decentralized version. I believe that this is going to take place. Rogers Campground appears that it's going to be open. So if you are in that area or you want to travel there, can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 29th until July 5th for Fork Fest 2020 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Fork Fest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is otherwise known as Pork Fest with a P, and Fork Fest with an F is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping or RV site or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 29th until July 5th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can simply relax and go camping with other liberty lovers, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for Fork Fest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with other Fork Festers via the unofficial Telegram chat or in the Fork Fest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party. So, summertime, and the living's easy, or will the living be easy? Jim is calling us from Florida, where they have long summertime there. It's summertime there now. He's listening on WOCA. Jim, how's it going, my friend?
Yeah, good evening. Yes, it's nice weather. Got the screens open. Get some of the evening breeze in. I wanted to mention that we're coming up to Memorial Day weekend to remember our fallen service members, and to remember a special person that was important to Saipan, Guy Gabaldon, the Pied Piper of Saipan, who single-handedly stopped the suicide charges and the people jumping off the cliffs. He was a Marine, and he could speak Japanese, and he was able to talk in something on the order of 1,000 Japanese soldiers,
yeah, it's one of the most
the Battle of Saipan.
Yeah, one of the most tragic stories, actually, and truly an odd one, and truly speaks to sort of the mentality of the Japanese military at the time. You can still go to this day to Suicide Cliff. It's not too far away from us, where the Japanese soldiers and many civilians jumped to their deaths, committed suicide rather than becoming prisoners of the U.S. or just as a form of honor. Very, very strange and very tragic story. So, yeah, what's the gentleman's name again? This is the first that I had actually heard this story, so that's a cool story to know living here in Saipan. Jim, what was the guy's name again?
Guy Gabaldon.
Guy Gabaldon. Okay.
Yes, he was a Mexican-American, and he was an orphan, and he was taken in by Japanese-Americans who fought in Italy. But Guy Gabaldon was awarded the Navy Cross for his action on Saipan.
Interesting. Well, excellent. Yes, we will keep that memory in mind. Thank you for the call, Jim. We've got, we got calls tonight. We got calls coming in. This gentleman jumped off of Discord, I guess because I wasn't getting to Discord fast enough. Jumped onto the calls, managed to get right on there. Christian Anarchist is listening online, calling from Tennessee. How are you, sir? What's going on this evening?
Well, I wanted to call and discuss China because you guys were talking about China earlier, and I know, Vin, you said you really don't care about China. And I've been to China many times. I actually been to Saipan for 2 weeks once, and my brother-in-law spent 2 years there, so I know a little bit about Saipan. Nice place, but kind of get cabin fever after being on the island for a year or two, but that's just what my brother-in-law said. So anyway, about China. I've been there, I don't even know how many times. I started going there after I married my Chinese wife 27 years ago, so probably at least 25 times, maybe 30. And so I've seen China evolve over the last 25 years, or I could say devolve, because when I first went to China, I found it to be quite an interesting place and a lot different than what I expected, because I expected the Communist Chinese Party to be these overhanded, heavy-handed people that were going to throw me in a gulag or whatever, and found that wasn't the case. In fact, in many ways, the Chinese people had more freedom than we did because they had less restrictions on what they could do business-wise. And the open policy worked really well for about 15 years. About 10 years ago, the heavy hand of the CCP started coming down, and in the last 10 years, they've changed into something that's getting closer to what they did a long time ago, with hanging signs around people's necks for having bad thoughts and stuff like that. And it's very scary. And I would say that China is trying to influence us. You see their effect all the time in the media. The way they stopped the NBA of a simple thing like, I stand with Hong Kong. You say that, and the Chinese government comes down on the NBA like a ton of bricks.
Well, did the Chinese stop the NBA, or was it that there was a financial incentive for the NBA to play ball with China because there was significant profit for the NBA coming in from China?
Well, you have to understand the way the Chinese system works, and all big government or all big institutions have a Chinese Communist Party monitor, a guy who sits in there with the board. He's part of the company. Doesn't matter what Chinese company you choose. There is a CCP party member that is helping them to make the right decisions. In other words, you got to make the right political decision with your company, or they simply take your company away. Like Jack Ma recently lost his position, and I think it had something to do with saying the wrong thing or even just thinking the wrong thoughts. So when you deal with any company in China, you are dealing with the CCP.
We can perhaps talk about this in a moment, but I still am not getting the answer of why I, as an American, should be concerned or scared. I understand why Chinese should be, but I'm wondering why I, as an American, should be concerned or scared of China. We can talk about that when we're back, Christian Anarchist. Just hold the line. We'll talk when we're back. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the Friday night lockdown show. I am Vin.
It's Alex.
And we are here in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. We've talked a lot about the islands in Saipan today. We've also spent some time talking about China, which it seems like we've spoken about China.
All the rage now.
China, and we've spoken about, if you bring up Israel, the phone lines light up, boy. They light up. It's that everybody wants to talk about these two topics, China and Israel. Nobody wants to talk about their own government tonight. Well, we'll talk about other people's governments. Christian Anarchist was telling us, I asked, why should I, as an American, even though I do live about a 5-hour flight away from China, why should I and other Americans fear the Chinese Communist Party? Christian Anarchists, go right ahead, sir.
Okay, sure. I'll go right into why you should fear. And the first, the NBA thing was just an example of how the CCP, and I don't like to use the word China because that's a misnomer. China is a landmass. It's not a political organization. So the political organization is CCP. And okay. I mean, my wife is China, but she's not Chinese, but she's not CCP. So
okay, gotcha.
you can't just say China, and Taiwan is China, and they're a far cry from CCP. And so is Hong Kong. So CCP is the problem, and they are using their economic growth that has been astronomical. I mean, for my 25 years of going there, I am astounded at the astronomical economic growth of China. but it seems to be slowing down or even reversing right now, which is a good thing in my opinion. But China is using their economic might to control free thought and free speech in all parts of the globe, and they are affecting free speech in the United States, and this is the thing that you need to be afraid of. They're pressuring people.
How is my free speech being affected by the Chinese? Can you give me some examples of how Americans' free speech is being affected in America by the Chinese Communist Party?
Post something on TikTok or YouTube or any of these other things that are slowly becoming under the economic control of China, and find out. Because
are you suggesting that the censorship on YouTube is being controlled by the Chinese Communist Party?
It is not directly controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Neither is any of these others. It's the monetary influence in YouTube that China is putting in that's making the people at the top of YouTube say, well, I don't think we should put that in because that's making our new buddies here pissed off, and they're not going to give us much money.
Okay, I got you. So how is that any different than, let's say, Ford Motor Car, who is a big, or GE, who are big advertisers, or Amazon, who's a big advertiser? How is that any different than a big advertiser saying, if you leave that up, we don't want to advertise on that content, and so YouTube takes it down? How is that any different? Should I fear Ford because they don't want to be associated with certain content?
That's cool. I just couldn't. I would just not buy Ford stuff. But China, you can't just say, well, I'm not buying everything from China, because there's too darn many things coming from China that we've basically grown to demand, and it would take a while for us to wean off of that. I think you're going to see some of that, but there's
there's a difference between the CCP and China, right? Is buying something from China directly funding the CCP? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, it is.
Yes, it absolutely is. I explained that earlier.
About that. Yeah, that's that. But I know that what you said earlier happens to be the case. I've known that for a long time. I've done business with China probably over the last 20 years, so I do know that.
Yeah, here's a better example. The CCP is influencing higher education mainly through the Confucius Institute, but in other ways as well, because they will do, huge donations to universities. And there's that guy in Australia right now, a student who is being threatened with expulsion because he posted stuff about the Uyghurs. Now, here's somebody in Australia who has nothing to do with China. He's not even Chinese. He posted something. The university that he goes to gets tons of money from the Chinese government, and therefore they're pressuring this kid. They told him to take his post down, which he had to do, and now they're still threatening him with all kinds of violations, like 200 pages long, and they're going to expel this kid. So higher education is being affected.
Well, I mean, Australia's got a lot of censorship problems. Australia is a very, very different place in terms of their laws regarding that and free speech.
It's happening here as well.
Perhaps this is a semantics thing, right? Is your argument that the CCP has a lot of influence on what we say and what corporations want us to say?
I wouldn't deny that.
We would agree with that.
Yeah, we agree. We agree that the CCP has incredible influence. Of course they do. They've got incredible economic influence. I mean, that's clear.
And their military influence, they have every intention of taking back Taiwan, and they have every intention. This week they made moves to take over Hong Kong. Basically, they passed a new law that says they can legislate whatever they want in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong's gone. It's
I'm just wondering how does there are tons of issues around the world with different nations doing things, not just China. There's things going on between nations all over the world. You look to Africa, there's still tons of problems. I'm just wondering, how is that a threat, or things going on in the Middle East? How is that a threat to me, an American?
Well,
as a matter of how is it?
It's a definite threat to you because you're on Saipan, which is only 5 hours away, like you just pointed out.
So, are you suggesting that China is going to take over Saipan? Is that what you're suggesting to me?
Oh, they absolutely will in 25 years or so. Once they got Taiwan back,
25 years.
Well, if you're still living there, you're going to have to start speaking Chinese.
I mean, that's a big making predictions out 25 years is pretty tough, dude. I mean,
look, they have taken over all kinds of islands in the South China Sea. They have absolutely
Where have
no
they
intention
taken
of...
that's inhabited, that isn't part of China by the international law?
Those are military installations. They've been chasing out Philippine fishing
those
boats
islands aren't
who
inhabited.
Who
I mean,
have
they can't
every
even take
right to
Taiwan
fish
or
there.
Hong Kong.
They're taking over the whole South China Sea. They don't have international authority to do anything in the South China Sea. They are sinking boats from Philippines and other places.
It's again. I hear you.
I think we're with you on most of it.
Everything
China
that
is a powerful entity.
Yes.
They're exerting their force on the world. It's contrary to American national interests.
Yeah,
However, as a
go ahead.
citizen, as an individual, I'm not sure exactly how it affects us or what we're supposed to do. Should we intervene every time a government does something tyrannical? We'll be in every country in the world, hopefully in America as well, right? Because what country is not doing something tyrannical? And as far as what's the threat to American freedom, it's the American government is the biggest threat. The Chinese...
Look, you're going to hear me talk about American government left and right. I never shut up about the infringements on liberty by the American government. But I'll tell you this, after spending a lot of time in China and, of course, my whole life here, the American government, as despicable as it is 10 times better than the CCP government. And if CCP gets their fingers over here, you guys aren't going to even have a radio show. You're not going to be able to say nothing.
So hold on. Let me ask you this. Again, we're with you. But what we're asking you is this. If you say that the American government is despicable, the only way to deal with the CCP in any of the spheres that you're talking about, what they're doing in the South China Sea, what they're doing in Hong Kong, what they're doing in Taiwan, would be action by the U.S. government. So in
Not
order
necessarily.
for it, okay, so can you tell what me as a citizen, how is it me, Vin Armani, how are the actions of the CCP, one, affecting me in a way that is dangerous to me and my family directly? And two, what can I as a citizen, without engaging the U.S. government, do to stop it?
Okay, they're threatening you because it's the slippery slope. They're gradually shutting down free speech using economic tools.
Yeah,
Number two,
we covered that. I'm sorry, we gotta take off. I'm not trying to cut you off, but we did do the whole segment with you there. Still not convinced. I'm sorry. Maybe we could talk about this next week. Free Talk Live.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required, only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
This is a Corona Crisis Self-Reliance Alert. If you're worried about the power grid in the current crisis and want to generate your own supply of off-the-grid electrical power, just in case, pay close attention. Here's why. A limited supply of solar backup generators will be available again in the next 2 weeks. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical backup power when you get off the grid. And unlike gas generators, these solar generators run quietly, emit no fumes, and produce an endless supply of free electricity from the sun. Dangerous weather, social unrest, or overloaded grids this summer will not be a problem if you go to mysolarbackup.com and get your solar backup generator. We regret that supplies are limited and only available on a first-come, first-served basis. Check availability at mysolarbackup.com. Never suffer painful power outages again. Go to mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the Friday night show, Marianas edition. I am Vin.
It's Alex.
Alex, I think this has been a good show, man. I just don't. I'm almost like I don't want to bring up the words China or Israel ever again on this show because that's what the show becomes about. But
it's a good topic.
I think it's maybe not the Israel part. We could stay away. That's like the third rail of content. If you want your content removed, go down that slippery slope. If you want to be censored, go down that slippery slope. And I really have nothing to say about them at the moment, right? Middle East wars are not the first thing on my mind. But China is they've been the forefront of this totalitarian move that has happened. They've got censorship, but we still don't have that level of censorship here, even on terrestrial radio, which we are on 200 stations, just about 200 stations. We'd love to be on 400, love to be on 500. The people that help us out with that are our amplifiers. I believe Christian Anarchist, who we just spoke to, happens to be an amplifier. Thank you to him. These are the people that help us move forward and market the show. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And we want to celebrate our amplifiers. Today we want to celebrate Dave Burns. He is an Amplifier Platinum. Tell them a little bit about this amplifier program and how people can be involved.
Yeah, go to freetalklive.com/amp and you can learn more about the program. There's different tiers. The lowest tier is silver. It's just $5 a month. That's all we're asking for. But if you really see the value in what we do, spreading free speech, freedom, discussions, where can you have these discussions?
Nowhere.
On hundreds of radio stations around the world. What if it was thousands? If you want to get there, you know what to do. Join the AMP program and spread the word.
Indeed. You know, we were talking just now about how I think there's maybe a lack of information. And when we talk about some of the stuff with censorship, and I just realized it, particularly with the censorship as we're talking about like YouTube censoring things. And we just talked about the situation with Joe Rogan and how he's going to be moving. And Alex Jones announced that. And of course, Alex Jones was taken off of YouTube and other platforms. I think I suffer from the curse of knowledge. But the curse of knowledge is something like you know something, so you assume other people do, and so you just start from that point. And one of those has to deal with the actual expense and difficulty involved with streaming media. So that's actually my background, my software background is in the field of streaming media. So live streaming, but also, recorded, delivering media to people. This is where I've spent my software background since 1998, really. That was when I started a small internet radio station called DJ Union in Hollywood with some friends. And, I was telling you, Alex, that in about 2006, I was hired to build, and maybe it was started in 2004 and I was there till 2006, to build a new radio station, including an internet radio station for one of the California state universities. And I was building my own radio stations at that time. And so for people to understand, at that time, and even though server costs are much less expensive now, and I was paying to do live radio streaming at like a MP3 level, I was paying $500 a month for a server. This is for my own internet radio station. And we were able to get concurrent, maybe we could get like 100 listeners maximum concurrent with the bandwidth that $500 got us. Now, it's much cheaper now with all of that bandwidth, but it's not so significantly cheaper that if you wanted to fire up something that would be able to give you HD live streaming in the way that YouTube does, and then archive it and store it and promote it and maintenance of the platform and all of that, you can do live streams like Joe Rogan, right? He's doing a live stream. He's got millions of people viewing. He could build that system out himself, but for him to build it out, run it, maintain it, Alex Jones does, right? But he can't get anywhere near the concurrent views that he can get on YouTube. What YouTube has provided to people, we talk about, oh my God, YouTube censored my video. I get it. I've had my own videos taken down. When I was doing my podcast with Activist Post, they took down our whole channel because we were talking about these types of issues. We were some of the early people. Activist Post was on those early fake news lists and all of that. I get it. It sucks, but it's the risk that you're taking because you're getting this for free. Something that would otherwise cost you thousands of dollars per month, or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, depending on the scope. Somebody like Joe Rogan might be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to keep an operation like that running and keep it global, whereas he pays literally zero.
YouTube's paying him.
Yeah, zero. Exactly. He gets paid. And so I get it. It's bad. I get it that they have influence. But as the old saying goes, you have to invite the vampire in. And in the case of big tech, we invited the vampire in. In the case of the Chinese Communist Party, every time you went to Walmart in search of those low prices, you invited the vampire in. You gave them economic power by giving them your dollars because they were giving you something of value. It's not like they came in and stole it. It's not like they came in with guns and forced you. Every dollar that they have, you gave them willingly. You went out of your way to give it to them. And regardless of whether what they're doing now is good or bad, I think that it's important for us as individuals to realize what part we had in that, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to reverse the situation as it is to first take responsibility for what we did, and
but
then to
it's
decide.
Different. It's the public space now. The internet's the public space.
It's always... This is what you get when people don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. What's happening in your life? If you want to live a good life, the most important thing is to say, I am happening to the world. The world is not happening to me. I am making decisions every day, and based on those decisions, I'm going to have a certain outcome. And this begins at the most simplest level. It begins at the level of what I put into my body. How much I weigh and how in shape I am is determined by my diet and exercise. It doesn't matter what someone out there on Madison Avenue is putting up, what the beauty standards of the culture are. What do you want to look like? You can look like that. It's not rocket science. The information's out there for free. And then the same thing is, how much control do you want the Chinese Communist Party to have in your life as an individual? You can make decisions. yourself about how you're going to live. But guess what? It's going to be more expensive. It's going to be less convenient. The vampire that you've invited in is offering a cheap and convenient way of doing things, and you've taken it hook, line, and sinker. So the bait was there. You took the bait. You can't be upset that you got hooked. You can't.
Yeah, and I think a smart strategy to do would be to leverage it, right? Leverage YouTube, build up your audience, and then jump on to BitChute or any of the alternatives once you've built up the audience. So if you're, against YouTube, what better move could you make against them that using all of their resources to build up your audience, and then right as you start becoming valuable, jumping ship?
And I will tell you, the first thing is this. If you want to have a terrible life, this is my own opinion upon living a good life. I think that maybe this is a little stoicism coming in. The first place to look is like in the mirror. In the mirror. Before there's a problem, but even Jesus said this, right? Before you address a problem with someone who speaks a different language than you, lives in a different country than you, they may be doing terrible things, and that's bad, and you shouldn't support that. But you know what? There's a whole lot that you could be doing for your neighbor. There's a whole lot that you could be doing for the people closest to you to make their lives better, and that's the contribution that you can make to the world. Because when we stop doing that, when we believe that the government should be the ones taking care of everybody, then you get the Chinese Communist Party. That's how you get the Chinese Communist Party, as opposed to us taking care of each other as individuals.
Yeah, the solution is who's going to save us from China? How are we going to contain them? How are we going to do this? Like you said, look to yourself. Get in the driver's seat and say, what are the problems in my life and how can I fix them? Many of the problems you can fix simply by moving, right? If you're in America, we're lucky. We have a federalist system, 50 states, something they don't have in China. There's some place freer you can move to that could change your life overnight. Mm-hmm. Get with like-minded people, work on building new things to help improve the world. That's what we're doing, and that's what we invite you to do as well. You can join us here in the U.S. Mariana Islands, work on crypto projects and other interesting things, or you can go somewhere else. Vote with your feet, take control, and live and prosper.
Oh, I love it. Voice and exit. Wise words as always. That's it for us today. We'll see you next week right here on Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of Questioning Authority is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,740, silver at $17.68, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,193. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, the Trump administration and local police are using cell phone contact tracing to track individuals for their own reasons. Further, beyond the coronavirus pandemic, the Trump administration has created a new national security watch list that includes Americans who have no connection to terrorism. The new transnational organized crime watch list was authorized through a classified Attorney General order and launched in 2017, according to a report from Newsweek. Activist Post reports the surveillance database allows the government to track and monitor Americans without a warrant, even when there is no evidence they're breaking any law. Also, anyone who is considered to be an authority, be it police to state and federal agencies, and even some allied foreign governments, can nominate any single person to the list. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Food prices have soared in recent weeks, while at the same time farmers are smashing eggs and dumping out milk. Farmers are wasting more food than ever, while most Americans are feeling a pinch at the grocery store. Activist Post reports that the power-hungry elitists have done their job, as the wealthy will get to eat while the poor, who are forced out of work, will just have to figure it out. A lot of Americans will soon be eating a lot less. Grocery prices spiked by the largest amount in nearly 50 years last month because of a draconian shutdown in most of the economy, including food facilities. There's now much more demand than there is supply, meaning that food will go to those who can afford to buy it. In addition to food factories closing, farmers are destroying their own products. An unprecedented amount of food is getting dumped even before making it into grocery stores. Around the globe, production is handled through what's known as just-in-time methods. The output from farms can be shuttled into stores or restaurants within just a few days, and the next batch of crops and livestock is ready to take its place immediately. America's billionaires saw their combined net worth soar by $434 billion between March 18th and May 19th, while the coronavirus pandemic killed tens of thousands of people and ravaged the U.S. economy, forcing more than 30 million out of work. That's according to a new analysis released Thursday by Americans for Tax Fairness and the Institute for Policy Studies, titled Tale of Two Crises: Billionaires Gain as Workers Feel Pandemic Pain. The Mind Unleashed reports the report shows that the 5 wealthiest billionaires in the U.S., Jeff Bezos of Amazon, Bill Gates of Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, and Larry Ellison of Oracle, saw their collective wealth grow by a total of $75.5 billion between March 18th and May 19th, a 19% jump. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
North, an extremely vocal opponent of gay marriage, drew fire during his 2010 re-election campaign for saying that the legalization of gay marriage would lead to man-horse marriages. In one instance, he told the New Haven Register, quote, "It's a slippery slope. If we allow two men to marry, what's next? Men marrying horses?" But yesterday, North found himself at the center of a media firestorm when the New York Times published photos of North on what appears to be romantic outings with a horse. Gathered during the Times' 2-month investigation, the pictures show North in almost a dozen locations with the same 3-year-old mare. A former aide discovered links to numerous horse-related sites, including phillyfreaks.com and hothindquarters.com on North's work computer. The Times is accusing North of using federal funds to pay for luxurious trips, including a 3-night stay at the high-end Sueños stables in Catalonia, Spain last month. North released a statement yesterday claiming he only spent time with the horse twice while conducting research for his anti-gay marriage project.
This is the Onion News Network.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to this latest edition of Questioning Authority Live. I just got here. I think there's a chance that this could be the very last Saturday episode I do here, at least in the studio, for quite some time. That's still up in the air, but I'm not really going to make much big fanfare about it regardless. It's one of those days where I wake up depressed, and it's like that's part of the reason why I'm late, comparatively late, right? I haven't had time even to get my water or drink, but I'm just gonna begin right away with breaking news as of 8 hours ago, right? And let's see here, 8 hours ago I was still asleep. Although the nightcap does keep me up for quite some time. Just beginning breaking news. This is from Justin Amash's Twitter account, and I was curious, for those of you who may be unaware, he's not a particularly notable figure, other than being, I think, one of the only Republicans in the House of Representatives to vote to impeach Trump in the phony Russian collusion scandal. And then he realized that the number one prerequisite for being a candidate in the Libertarian Party is being an elected Republican, or at least a former elected Republican. So he decided to be an opportunistic piece of shit and throw a monkey wrench in the LP's 2020 presidential election process, and try and, I don't think he officially declared. I think he was just had an exploratory committee or whatever. And I felt really sad for, and let's see, the only names who are running that I could remember is Kokesh, McAfee, Vermin Supreme, and the guy who wears a big taxation is theft hat. I forget his name. I just know he's a guy who wears that hat everywhere he goes. I mean, it's like he made a decent, I saw some of his campaign videos, and they were decent videos, but it's sort of, I don't know, I mean, I didn't know if I heard screaming for a moment. I don't know if it subverts the message by wearing a big, ridiculous Mad Hatter's cap. But so I felt sad for them, because if Amash got in, despite him being one of the most mediocre representatives in the quote, Freedom Caucus, he would have gotten it, because that's how it is, and in the party. And I was talking to Stefan from Ohio, who's associated with. He's associated with, or not associated with, at least has much knowledge of how the inner workings of the LP works. And that some people are talking about not saying that because Amash because of this announcement, they're not going to get ballot access. So here he goes, tweeted as of 8 hours ago. And he tweeted out a fucking novel on Twitter, which is ridiculous. Thanks for your support as I've been exploring a run for president as the potential nominee of the Libertarian Party. I've spent nearly 3 weeks assessing the race, appearing in media, talking to delegates and donors, and watching the Libertarian Party's convention plan unfold, and gathering feedback from family, friends, and other advisors. He doesn't say voters because he knows he has zero chance. After much reflection, I've concluded that circumstances don't lend themselves to my success as a candidate for president this year, and therefore I will not be a candidate. This was a difficult decision for me, especially having seen grassroots supporters put so much effort into this campaign. It's been humbling and awesome. I continue to believe that a candidate from outside the old parties offering a vision of government grounded in liberty and equality can break through in the right environment. But this environment presents extraordinary challenges. Polarization is near an all-time high. Electoral success requires an audience willing to consider alternatives. But both social media and traditional media are dominated by voices strongly averse to the political risks posed by a viable third candidate. And yet, he doesn't want to do anything about it, right? If he doesn't, he's the type who says, I'm a private company, when you have big tech essentially running the economy as a monopoly. And they could easily be broken up by antitrust laws because whoever controls the present controls the past. Whoever controls the past controls the present, and whoever controls the present controls the future. And that's what these big tech companies are doing. So it is totally within... It's within it's within reason, and I'd say that it's within reason for someone who describes himself as a libertarian and holds those views to be in support of breaking up these tech monopolies. But Justin Mash is just another example of controlled opposition. The new reality of social distancing levels the playing field among the candidates in many respects, and he doesn't give any evidence for that or reasoning for that. How does it level the playing field? Oh, I guess in the sense where Trump can't have his massive rallies, and so if Trump can't have his massive rallies and Amash doesn't feel so bad of having a rally with like if Biden could get a few hundred at his rallies and Trump gets several thousands, Amash will probably get like a dozen or two. But it also means lesser-known candidates are more dependent on adequate media opportunities to reach people. Today, most Americans are understandably more interested in what life will look like tomorrow than they are in the broader policy debates, and news coverage has reflected those priorities. Well, it's always like that. People don't give a shit. Like, anytime I talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C., Ian gets bored to the point where I title it... whenever I talk about Beltway stuff, I call it my political soap operas. Oops, the phone is out. I call it my political soap operas. Americans have always been like this. This is just a great excuse he's using. At the same time, fundraising challenges posed by an idled economy will hinder advertising. The Libertarian Party's National Committee members and delegates have worked diligently to organize the national conversation. People wonder why I don't take you seriously. Libertarian Party's National Committee members and delegates have worked diligently to organize